All right, it's Figgie and the Moose on this Wednesday right here on Pix 11 Plus. A good Wednesday to one and all. Beautiful area, a beautiful day in the tri-state area. It's going to be anywhere between 85 and 90 degrees, according to Sabina Mr. G. So that's a positive. So enjoy it outside. A little bit of baseball to get into, and we'll get into that. But how you doing on this Wednesday, Figgie?
I'm doing great. Up and at 'em early this morning. Got done with the New York Living Show with Marisol. Fun show, and now ready to talk some more sports.
Yeah, talk a little bit of sports, and the latest and greatest is that, the Knicks now are looking for what their next option is going to be because Jay Wright was never really an option, right? So now you look at it, after they fired Tom Thibodeau, they couldn't chat with Ime Udoka from the Rockets. That was denied by Houston. Chris Finch with Minnesota. That was denied by the Timberwolves. And the reports this morning is that they reached out this morning to the Dallas Mavericks to talk to their head coach, Jason Kidd, who's got 2 years left on his deal. And Dallas said basically hit the bricks. So, could something be worked out? I mean, I guess. I mean, the argument is if you want a coach that doesn't want to be there, do you really want him going out there coaching the team? Does Kidd get a new deal down in Dallas? We discussed it yesterday a little bit and last night on TV about the fact of, which opportunity is a better opportunity for Jason Kidd. But it looks like it appears right now, at least at the time of this recording, that does not appear that it's going to be the case.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we kind of went back and forth on is job security, right, for Jason Kidd. With all the things that happened in Dallas, now you're going to have the number one pick overall, Cooper Flagg, who's coming into the mix. You have 2 years left on your deal. You kind of want that job security of I'm going to be around here a little bit longer. We know Cooper Flagg is going to be around for a lot longer. But aging AD and Kyrie aren't exactly in their big window of opportunity to be able to coincide with Cooper Flagg. So what exactly direction is this organization going in? And so you can use all those different things if you're Jason Kidd to try and, work out a longer deal or an extension on a deal. We saw that, Tom Thibodeau got his extension and he was still shown the door. But I think when it comes to jumping ship and getting over to the Knicks, yeah, I think their opportunity to win is they're a lot closer to a chance to win an NBA title than the Dallas Mavericks are at this current juncture. And I think, the ownership group and Leon Rose has to do a better job of putting a roster together that kind of looks like what we're seeing in those championship rosters that are playing right now, right? The depth, not necessarily just two pieces or the big three, but you need the depth throughout so that not only the rigors of a regular season, but when you come matching up to a series, you can have waves of different players going in and out, and you don't have the big drop off.
That's honestly exactly what you would love to see here, Figgy. I don't think there's any doubt. But I think if you're the Knicks fan, you're a little concerned, right? Because there's no plan. I mean, and leads you obviously to believe that, James Dolan was the one that spearheaded it because you believe that Leon Rose is too smart, too savvy, too street savvy, too experienced in the wheelings and dealings and everything that goes along with the NBA to have this kind of play out the way that it has. I understand it's been a week, but it's ironic that on the same day that Tom Thibodeau takes out a full-page ad in the New York Times thanking the Knicks fans and thanking the Knicks organization for a dream come true and the opportunity to coach the Knicks for the last 5 years, here are the New York Knicks where their singular focus is on winning a championship. And they're down to, their fourth or fifth option in order to replace the guy that they just got rid of. Like, think about that for a second. Like, the optics aren't exactly ideal or great when you look at it, because if the Knicks was some unbelievable opportunity, if you were a coach, I mean, you could maybe probably, with the way the NBA works, steamroll your way out of a situation to put yourself into that situation. That doesn't appear to be the case with either of the three. And the Knicks really had no plan. That's really the aspect of it when you look at it, to where the firing was irrational. The firing should not have gone down. Thibodeau should have gotten more time. He didn't. Now you're trying to bring in a coach. Say, of argument's sake, they hired Johnny Bryant. How exactly are you going to sell that? Now, there will be some Knick apologists and Thibodeau haters that'll fall over themselves to basically get on bended knee thinking that how brilliant of a hire it is and all this stuff. But if your singular focus was on winning an NBA championship, how exactly then do you sell a guy that's never been a head coach in the NBA? Is the answer if it ends up being that guy?
And take it even a step further, right? If you're any experienced coach and you just saw what they did to Tom Thibodeau, what is that attractive to you to want to be a, you know what, I'm going to uproot whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm at, whatever I've established already, and I'm just going to uproot that and go to New York and deal with the pressures of, oh, what did they say? Championship or bust? Well, now it's all on me, right? I didn't put this team together. Right. I didn't put this team together. I didn't bring these guys in here. I'm coming in as the new head coach to a situation where you telling me this is a flawed team, that there's a lot of things that they need to work on and be better at. Well, the head coach wasn't really the problem then, right? The head coach had done everything you had asked of him, making the playoffs 4 out of 5 seasons. And he gets to the situation where you're very close to making the finals. Were you one piece away? Absolutely. One more guy could have really, really helped. And you saw that the lack of depth. And not only that, do you need to go out and get a superstar? Do you need, I mean, you hear all the rumors. Oh my God, maybe they go get Giannis. Maybe they make a huge trade. Maybe what is this organization doing right now? Like, you had an identity and now what are you? You have no identity. You're on a raft hoping something lands in your lap. But again, you just really shot yourself in the foot the way you treated a championship caliber coach who's gotten you this far, and now you expect somebody to just walk in and be like, oh, this sounds like a great situation.
Right. I mean, you might have a case here where, like, you play a game of musical chairs, right? The Knicks are in search of a head coach. The NBA draft is like 3 weeks away. We've got game 3 of the NBA finals later on tonight out in Indianapolis. Reports out of Milwaukee are that, right now that, Giannis has not requested a trade, and they believe that he's going to remain a Milwaukee Buck. And then the reports out of San Antonio that they're on the verge of getting Kevin Durant from the Phoenix Suns. So all the Knicks fans that were running around thinking that, it's going to be Kidd and Giannis and then maybe go out there and get Durant. I mean, I joked around about it on social media. It was irrational and pie in the sky kind of stuff. And now you might have the same group rolling back here with a tweak to the bench. I mean, that's where we're at here. And that's why the firing made no sense. That's why the firing at the time and dismissal of Tom Thibodeau made little to no sense, because of what had been established here, Figgy. And this, when any new coach, regardless of the personnel, for argument's sake, say it's minor tweak here or there, regardless of personnel, I mean, Rome wasn't also built in a day. It does take a coach time to be able to implement what they're looking to try and do as well. So, but how much time are you going to realistically be given now that there is the singular focus on winning a championship? I miss the days, when I had a singular focus. My singular focus was, maybe I'll go get McDonald's for lunch. Like, that was my singular focus. Or my singular, like, now I don't, I'm all over the place with the kids, the dog, work, all this stuff. Like, I don't have singular focuses. Like, I really don't. Like, I miss those days when I had just one singular focus before marriage, before kids, where it was like, you know what? I feel like Pizza Hut tonight. I think I'm going to go to Pizza Hut. That was my singular focus for the day.
Well, we sat there, right, and I made fun of it. I made light of it yesterday, saying this is very similar to you going out there and going, you know what? I'm out of my relationship, and I'm looking around the landscape, and I think, this guy's wife is pretty hot. I like this guy's wife. What are you doing? Like, what there was zero thought to this. It seemed to them like everybody's just going to throw themselves at us. Like, we are the most coveted franchise. And about the dysfunction throughout the years. About what it was before Tom Thibodeau. And we thought that was a foregone conclusion. Like, this team was headed in the right direction. You were so close to getting to the NBA Finals. And now you look around and you're like, what are they doing? And I love it's like the Spider-Man meme. Like, who's more responsible in this, right? All three guys, Worldwide West, you got Dolan, you got Leon Rose, all pointing to each other. You wanted him gone. You wanted him gone. Now what do we do?
Yeah. I mean, Wes and Rose, Wes and Dolan wanted him gone. I mean, this is all James Dolan. But I love that example. It's like, you're like, you just get out of a relationship, you're feeling good, you take the shit off, you put on the cologne, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. You go to like the local pub or bar or wherever it might be, hang out, you walk in, and the night ends up where you're drinking alone at the bar. And, anybody you might be interested is already taken. So,
right? You're going out to dinner with friends.
Can I have permission to dance with your girl? No. Can I have permission to dance with you? No. Can I have permission to dance with you? No. And then there's like nobody else. And then in the corner is like Mike Malone and Johnny Bryant. And they're like, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I mean, like they had issues with Thibodeau. Malone will basically call out half the team. I mean,
oh God,
right. And listen, I didn't realize that the Knicks, I mean, and Tom Thibodeau's coaching career Knicks was going to reside on the fact of whether or not OG Anunoby was happy on a day in, day out basis. I mean, like, I just didn't, like, think about like where this, it was so irrational and so stupid, but it's just the Knicks. And it's kind of like that comfortability where the dysfunction is returned to Madison Square Garden.
And it's so sad to see, right? Because here we were thinking that, wow, you know, since the Jalen Brunson move, how this organization has changed, how it felt different. They made good. Leon Rose was making good trades, bringing guys in, and you felt like this is a group that could do some things. And then you realize during the playoffs, okay, there's some things got exposed, but it wasn't necessarily the coaching that got exposed. It was the players, you know, having a lack of fundamentals when it came on the defensive side of the basketball, and it came to the not having the depth. And so if you're going to call people out, yeah, you can do that. And there's a way to right the ship in all of those things. But you went out there and you did what you thought was the easiest thing to do that would help the team the quickest, but you did not have any plan in place. You just thought that it was going to fall into your lap for some reason because everything else in James Dolan's life has.
No doubt. And listen, I get people are going to say, and we mentioned earlier on in the show that, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the pursuit of Jason Kidd, but now it'll have to get really ugly for Kidd to get himself out of Dallas, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that'll happen. Maybe the Dallas Mavericks will respond and give Jason Kidd a big fat new contract extension after he just inked the one a year ago or a couple years ago. In 2024, I believe he inked it.
Yeah.
Biggie, maybe they'll give him a new contract extension. I don't know. I mean, but, you know, everyone that, you know, here's what you need to know, like the basis of it. Like you had to have, you know this, Figgy, and we all know this, like there are back channel conversations that you have to figure out whether or not someone potentially would be interested. They're unhappy in their scenario, unhappy in the situation. I know in the NBA, a lot of that plays out for all of us to consume and take in. None of those conversations happened before they fired Tom Thibodeau. So all of that. So all the reports of Thibodeau being on thin ice, Thibodeau having, you know, whether it be the Detroit series, the Boston series, obviously the Indiana series ends up getting fired 4 days after they get eliminated by the Indiana Pacers and paid $30 million to go away. None of those back channel conversations happened. So there was no plan. You know, now they're doing this for everyone to see. And you could say, well, you know, go out there and do their due diligence. Yeah, to an extent. But I would think for an organization who singular focus right now is on winning a championship, that you would be buttoned up to have a plan should you decide to move on from the head coach. And they moved on from the head coach and there was no plan.
Yeah, this wasn't moving on. This wasn't moving on from the strength coordinator or the training staff because of injuries. This wasn't moving on at something that's an extremity of you're talking about the head coach. We talk about culture. We talk about identity. We talk about all those things. And yes, Tom Thibodeau's style was hard-nosed. You know, you're going to play to the final, the final buzzer. You're going to play a ton of minutes if you're a starter for me. And guys acclimated to it in such where we saw them and we were praising. These guys were stronger at the end of the games, especially in that Boston series, right? The way they were finishing games, they were coming back. And then they took those first 2 games in Boston, praise being heaped all around. Well, you know, maybe the minutes police were out of their mind. And then you're like, well, you know, the guys were complaining. Yeah, there's little things to not every guy gets along with the head coach or the manager perfectly. You know, there are things that they're being asked, and if you're giving your opinion, it's your opinion. But to sit there and after it's all said and done, make the move so quickly, so abruptly. And I look at it from Tom Thibodeau's side. If they knocked on my door after the exit interviews were over and they said, hey, can we talk to you for a second? Yeah. Hey, listen, you know, we're thinking of maybe going in a different direction. I couldn't pack my stuff fast enough. I don't have to deal with the drama. I don't have to deal with the whatever is going to happen, the dysfunction that is going to happen. I don't have to deal with it anymore. For the next 3 years, $30 million for me to go away?
No, I get it. But no, that's fair, Figgy. But think about this. It was his dream job. like I get the money and money. Listen, those that say that money doesn't buy you happiness, I mean, give me $10 million. I think I'd be pretty happy. Give you $10 million. I think we'd all be pretty happy. And I get, listen, it takes away a lot of stressors that majority of Americans feel on a day in, day out basis. But for Thibodeau, I think it was just irrational. And when you have a crack at doing the job that you love for the organization that you grew up driving down from Connecticut with your dad to go see at Madison Square Garden, that's tough. I mean,
but everything you did, but you're being told that everything you have done, remember, you took it from irrelevancy to playoffs 4 to 5 years and almost NBA finals, and it still wasn't good enough. They came to your office and said, we're going in a different direction. What fight could you give? What could you possibly say?
No, nothing.
Right?
Nothing.
So at least he had the recourse of, you know what? For the next 3 years, whether he wants to be an analyst, do TV, whatever it is, because he's a great interview. Whatever he wants to do, he can now do. And we said this, he's a basketball lifer. This guy, all he did was eat, sleep, breathe basketball, Knicks basketball, trying to figure out the best way to use the team, the best way to play the cards that he was dealt. And, could he have made some changes? Absolutely, because every year is different. We said that about last year's team compared to this year's team. Every year is different. You wanted it to be the same way with the Villanova trio. It was going to be the quartet. But it was always going to be a little bit different. Randall coming back and being fully healthy, it was going to be different because Jalen Brunson had ascended to be a star. It was going to be different, and Tom Thibodeau had to figure out how to make that different thing work. And for the most part, he did.
Yeah.
So to be one of the last 4 teams standing, that should have been something enough to build on and say, hey, you got a 3-year extension left. Maybe next year. Say they take a step back next year. Then you make the move. Why now?
Well, they did it because I think egos get involved, personalities get involved, and then I think irrational decisions then come down. We'll continue the conversation. We'll do it next. It's Figgie and the Moose on this Wednesday right here on Pix 11 Plus. All right, welcome back. It's Figgie and the Moose. Marc Malusis, Nelson Figueroa with you right here on Pix 11 Plus. Make sure to check us out each and every night, 7 p.m. Sports Nation Nightly on Pix 11. Now, no show tonight. But we'll be back with you tomorrow night, Thursday night, for Sports Nation Nightly. Figgy, and I think this episode deserving of kind of the focus being on the New York Knicks, because I'll ask you this question about Jason Kidd. It's not a strikeout. You'll see the stories to where maybe the pursuit of Jason Kidd, as there was reports yesterday that there was mutual interest for both sides. I mentioned in a previous segment that would have to get ugly. Do you think Kidd forces his way out of Dallas to get himself to New York?
I think, honestly, if the conversation is, I have 2 years left. There's an opportunity that, I would like to pursue if this isn't a commitment from ownership, that with everything that you did behind my back, you cut my legs out from underneath me. We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs, and you took away my star player. Didn't even give me an opportunity to have him all year long. With all those things, if you still believe in me, then I'm going to need to see, another extension to get them to that place. And they could sit back and say, no, they don't want to do it. But at the same time, do you want to have that disgruntled employee there, the face of the franchise, answering questions at the press conference every day? And you can just tell he doesn't want to be there. And what happens? No AD to start out. You have Kyrie on the mend. You get Cooper Flag, great. And now it's Cooper Flag and the rest of the guys. And you start out, rock bottom right away off the bat. What do you do then? So there's a lot of ways to look at that. And I think, if Jason Kidd wants the job, and I think if they're going to do a reset in Dallas, if you were willing to reset and send the best player that your franchise has had since Dirk Nowitzki, if you're willing to get rid of him to start over, then the head coach is a possibility that they might have somebody else in mind that they think they can grow with Cooper Flag and the rest of this team.
Yeah, and they might. I mean, and maybe it's the Dallas Mavericks playing hardball. Reportedly the Mavs owner and Dolan, they were partners on, the sphere that was built out there in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's a relationship there. I agree with you. The question is, will Kidd go out there? And Kidd was a wonderful basketball player. And, when he's had intentions of going somewhere, the Brooklyn Net fan will know this. He wanted to go to Milwaukee, forced his way out. The Nets got 2 second-round draft choices. He ended up being the Bucks coach with the Milwaukee Bucks. So is this necessarily the end? It's not, but I think you'd have to go out there and get ugly. I don't know if this kid because let's be honest, Jason Kidd's not Pat Riley.
No.
We're making this out to be Jason Kidd hasn't really accomplished what Tom Thibodeau has accomplished as a head coach in the NBA. We're making it out to be like this is, Phil Jackson stepping into Madison Square Garden. I mean, there would be questions and concerns about Jason Kidd as well.
No doubt.
What the offense, what the defense is going to look like. I guess, do I think this is necessarily done? Probably not. But I think you'd have to get messy now for him to get to Madison Square Garden.
I just looked at it 12 hours ago. A story came out that the former Kings assistant Jay Triano's now signed with the Mavericks to be on Jason Kidd's coaching staff. So they're adding to his coaching staff. I mean, those signs don't really point to, hey, we're getting rid of the guy or we're going to let him walk. Or maybe they're putting a guy in place that they think they can go to possibly. So there's so many ways to look at this thing. And at the end of the day, if you had to list me head coaches that I thought were better than Tom Thibodeau and could get you to the promised land, I don't think Jason Kidd's name is at the top of the list.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, I'd prefer Ime Udoka over Jason Kidd. I probably would have preferred Chris Finch over Jason Kidd. The issue is they have jobs. I don't know what Jay Wright would be as an NBA head coach, but Jay Wright, the fire is clearly burnt out for him being a coach, and that's not exactly the guy that you want to turn to either, because that is, you have to sacrifice a lot and devote your life to being a great coach and to really anything in order to be great at anything. So that's where the Knicks are right now. It's a big holding pattern, like you're circling an airport. I know that's been in the storylines nowadays, but like you're circling the airport, getting ready to land. The plane has not landed as of yet. And the Knicks are looking for the captain to land.
Yeah.
I mean,
and listen, that's a beautiful way of putting it. And I think one of the things that we're seeing in professional sports,
running around as a stewardess saying everything's okay. Don't worry.
The oxygen masks are there just, for your protection.
All good. All good.
I think one of the things that we see with professional sports and the landscape of professional sports, and we see it here in New York especially, right? We saw Buck Showalter win Manager of the Year. They won 103 games. And he was fired the next year when the team didn't perform well. That the highest paid players, the highest payroll in baseball history, didn't perform well. It went all on the manager for some reason, right? But they wanted to change the culture, and they did. They hired Carlos Mendoza, who nobody knew, and he came in, and it was the right fit, right? So we're talking about Johnny Bryant and the first-time coach and all those things, and could he be the right fit? Listen, we have no idea, but I do know this. Over the landscape of professional sports, and we saw a guy in Adrian Griffin, where it was 30-13 for the Bucks. 30-13, one of the best records in the NBA, and he got fired.
Yeah.
Why? Because one of the superstars said, "I don't like his style."
Yeah.
They were 30-13, and they got rid of him, and then they went and got a superstar coach who has a pedigree of winning in Doc Rivers. And have the Bucks been the same ever since? No. Because, of course, it goes down to you're looking at that second apron. You're looking at all of the cap space. You're looking at all the things that you have to do to put together construct a championship roster. There's a lot of things that come into play. But to have a person at a leadership position that has never done it before and expect these guys who have done it for a long time playing basketball to say, yeah, he's doing a great job. Even when they're doing a great job, they can be fired. And that is a concern for anyone who wants to take a job, especially like the Knicks.
See where they land. Not obviously great news on a Wednesday here, but we'll continue to follow it, continue to react to it, not only here on Figgie and the Moose on Pix 11 Plus, but also check out Sports Nation Nightly Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. on Pix 11. For Nelson Figueroa, I'm Marc Malusis. This has been Figgie and the Moose right here on Pix 11 Plus.